Alright, welcome back to FreeCodeCamp. We're learning modern JavaScript methods by building a football team cards game. So this is part of the JavaScript algorithms and data structures certification. And step 12, it says inside the players array right here on line 16, we're going to create a new object with the following properties. So we have the curly braces for the object, and inside here we're going to have name, comma, and quotation marks, Sergio Amaron, which I'm going to copy and paste the last name, just like this. Then comma, we're going to have position forward to a string, make sure it's a string, and then comma, number 1, comma, is captain false, just like this, property and value, and nickname will be null, just like this. So step 13, below the object, create a new object with the following properties. So we're going to create another object under the previous object we created in step 12. And it's already separated by a comma, so we just need the curly braces. And we're going to have name. Honestly, we just copy and paste this over. So copy, paste, and make sure we add the commas to the end over here, just like this. And now step 14, the rest of the data for the favorite football team players array has already been filled out, so they filled out the rest of the objects. And next up will be to ensure so we can't modify the object by adding or removing any project properties. We're gonna call a method called Object.freeze, which will freeze the object and prevent any changes from being made. So in here we're going to be using the Object.freeze method to freeze the my favorite football team object. So this is my favorite football team object right here, and we're going to use the method. In order to use the method, we're going to have a period dot object dot freeze, just like this. And we're gonna have inside here, oh, we're not gonna have the period. We're just gonna have object.freeze, and then inside as an argument, we're gonna have my favorite football team, just like this. So step 15, it says to check the Object.freeze method is working, you can try to assign a new value to one of the existing properties. So below the Object.freeze, we're gonna assign a USA string to my favorite football team. So let's do that. Let's do my favorite football team. Football team is equal for one equal sign for assignment to the string of USA, just like this. And then below that we could add a console log for the my favorite football team property. So we're gonna have it my favorite football team. Oh, copy this. And in the console.log, inside the argument, we're gonna have my favorite football team. Just like this. So if we do inspect and we do check code under console, check code, it says that uncaught type we cannot assign. So we can assign team. So this freezes the object basically, just like this. Step 16, now that you have tested the Object.freeze method, you could delete those two lines from the last lesson. Next step is to access the key called sport from the my object.football team and assign it to a const variable called sport. So we're going to delete the previous two in the last step, 15. So in this step, we're going to create a const sport value, a variable, and assign it to my favorite football team dot sport, just like this. Step 17, below the sport variable, access the key called team from the my favorite football team object and assign it a new const called team. So just like previous one, we're gonna const team is equal to my favorite football team dot team, just like this. Step 18, in the last two steps, we're accessing the properties from the my favorite football team object using dot notation and assigning them to a new const variable. So there's an easier way, they say, and that's by object destructuring, which allows us to unpack values from an array and object, just like over here. So what we could do is rewrite those two lines in the new destructuring syntax. So we could delete this one, and we're gonna have const the curly braces. Inside here we're gonna have sport comma team, and then it's gonna be equal to the my favorite football team object, just like this. And now we're gonna add the year and players to our destructuring. So we do comma year and comma players, just like this. Now step 20, we need to access the coach name value from the my favorite football team head coach object using the destructuring syntax. So we could do const and then the curly braces coach name, which is going to be equal to my favorite football team head coach, just like this. Now step 21, we are going to start displaying the team's information on the screen. So below our destructuring assignment, assign a sport value variable to the type of sport.text context. So once this is completed, we should see the results in the preview window right here. So we're going to do sport is equal to type of sport dot text content. Oh, you should assign the sport oh, so we forgot a const. So const sport. It says you should assign the sport variable to the type of sport dot text context or content. So I think it's the other way around. So we're gonna do this sport, just like this. Now step 22, we're going to assign the team variable to the team name.text content. So team name.text content is equal to team, just like this. And now we're going to assign the year variable to the World Cup year.text content, and below that we're going to, so let's do that first. So we're going to do World Cup year.text content is equal to year. And below that, we're going to assign the coach name variable to the head coach.text content, just like we did up above. So we're going to do head coach.text content is equal to coach name. And it says now we should see all the information displayed, just like here. Now step 24, we'll start building out the function that shows the player cards based on the selection made by the player filter by the user in the filter teammates dropdown. So now this doesn't work right now, so we're gonna create an empty arrow function called set player cards, and we don't need to add parameters. So we're gonna do const set player cards is equal to parentheses, which is equal greater than sign, just like this, and there will be no parameters because that's going to be in the next step, just like this. So now step 25, it says function parameters can be initialized with default values. So if the function is called without the argument, then the default value will be used. So just like over here. So now adding a new parameter to your set players cards function called array. So array, and we're going to have a default value of players. So array is going to be equal to string players to make it a default value. So we passed in array. It says you should pass an array as a parameter and should have a default value of players. Maybe without the string. Yep. So players will not be a string.